Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're embarking on an exploration into the world of study and research.
Hmm.
We've gathered a really fascinating collection of materials for you, everything from vocabulary guides, for academic settings to insightful audio recordings.
Yeah, filled with personal stories and advice on navigating research.
Exactly. So our mission is basically to distill the most valuable knowledge and um, our practical strategies to help supercharge your own learning wherever you happen to be on that path right now.
That's right. We're looking at a really rich mix here. Think of it maybe as a shortcut to understanding what makes for, effective learning and solid research.
Okay.
We've got tools to build that academic vocabulary, expert advice on actually doing meaningful research, reflections on the challenges and the triumphs, too, of academic life.
And those firsthand accounts as well, right?
Yeah.
Including some really crucial insights into tackling the dissertation.
Yeah, exactly. That big hurdle.
Okay, let's dive right in then with the fundamentals of effective study. Now, this might seem like, well, common sense.
All right.
But our vocabulary guide actually highlights some surprisingly personal elements. Like, where do you find your study sweet spot? Is it school, the library, or maybe just home?
Mm-hmm. And what about time of day? Morning person? Afternoon? Late night?
Yeah, and how you work best.
Mm.
With friends, background music, or do you need, like, total silence?
And what's really fascinating here, I think, is how the sources underscore just how individual this all is. It's not just convenience.
No.
No, it taps into how each of us processes information best. Like, if you're more of a kinesthetic learner, being in a structured space like a library might, perhaps surprisingly, help you focus.
Okay, so understanding your learning style, visual, auditory, doing that can really shape where and when you study best.
Absolutely. It informs those choices.
That makes perfect sense. And it's not just the where and when, is it? It's also the how. Do you thrive on bouncing ideas off friends, or does music help you focus, or is it silence you need?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the article on academic challenges, it even points out that some people actually need a certain level of background noise.
Really? Noise helps.
Yeah, to filter out other distractions and maintain focus. It sounds counterintuitive, I know, especially if you crave quiet.
Mm.
But it just emphasizes how much self-awareness you need to craft your own ideal study conditions. You've got to understand your own cognitive quirks.
Right. Okay, so beyond the environment, the actual nuts and bolts of studying matter too. Our vocabulary guide reminds us of the classic toolkit: textbooks, paper, pens,
These essentials, yeah.
the tactile stuff. But it also points out that depending on your field, you might need specialized tools like a compass and set square for geometry, for instance.
That's such a key point and often overlooked, I think. Having the right tools ready just removes friction, doesn't it?
Yeah, it lets you focus on the actual subject.
Right. And the guide also rightly emphasizes knowing your curriculum. Inside and out. You can't really chart an effective study course if you don't know the destination, you know?
True. Understanding the scope of what's expected, that's fundamental.
It really is.
Yeah.
For targeted learning.
Now, let's be real for a second. The academic journey isn't always smooth sailing, is it?
Definitely not.
What are some of the common hurdles our sources shine a light on?
Well, the article on navigating academic challenges gives a pretty good overview. Simple things sometimes, like just staying alert during long study sessions, that can be a big obstacle.
Oh, I know that one. The drooping eyelids.
Yeah. And then there's the often humbling need to go back to basics. Sometimes you hit complex stuff and realize, oops, a basic building block is shaky.
Right, you have to shore up the foundation before you can build higher.
Exactly. It's essential for progress, even if it feels like going backwards for a bit.
Absolutely. And something I think many people can relate to, that endless quest for a quiet study spot
Mm-hmm.
and the constant battle against distractions, especially, digital ones these days.
Precisely. They're always vying for our attention. And the article also thoughtfully mentions the extra effort and tailored strategies often needed for students with learning differences, like dyslexia.
That's important to remember.
Yeah, it reminds us that the learning experience is diverse, and effective approaches need to be just as varied.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit and tap into some personal insights from those audio recordings we mentioned. Track 5A gives a really relatable look back at early education, starting with a confessed dislike for kindergarten.
Ah. Yeah, I think many of us have some early school memories that aren't exactly sunshine and rainbows.
Totally.
But what's striking in this account is the transformation in primary school. The speaker credits it largely to their mother being a teacher there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, even being their teacher in first grade. That personal connection, that support system, it clearly had a huge impact.
You can see how it would, that individualized attention.
Definitely. But then comes the shift to senior school, and that close maternal involvement naturally lessened.
Right, that makes sense.
And then a really pivotal moment, getting a scholarship to an all-boys high school.
Okay, and what did they make of that?
Well, here's where it gets interesting. The speaker specifically points to the advantages they perceived in that single-sex environment.
Like what?
Fewer distractions, mainly. A greater ability to just concentrate on the academic work. It's just one perspective, of course, but it highlights how environment can really shape focus.
Interesting take. Okay, now let's move up a level into postgraduate territory and the often dreaded dissertation.
Ah, yes, the big one.
Track 5B tackles what seems like a nearly universal challenge, just landing on that crucial research topic.
It really is often the first major intellectual hurdle at that level, isn't it?
Seems like it.
And the speaker in the audio offers some incredibly practical advice. The cornerstone, they say, is thorough immersion. You have to dive deep into the existing research in your field.
Right, you can't find a gap if you don't know the landscape.
Exactly. You can't identify a compelling, viable research question without really understanding what's already been explored, what the current conversations are. Think of it like knowing the map before you set out to discover new territory.
That's a great analogy. You need that broad understanding of your specialization just to spot the interesting questions, the unanswered bits.
Precisely. And from that broad knowledge, then you can start pinpointing what's currently relevant, what's significant in your area. That lets you narrow your focus to something, manageable but still impactful.
Okay.
The audio also really emphasizes setting clear boundaries, a well-defined scope for your research right from the start.
Ah, the classic scope creep avoidance strategy.
Exactly. It helps prevent the whole thing from ballooning out of control.
That sounds like vital advice. And the audio also mentioned another strategy, critically analyzing existing research.
Yes, looking for areas of disagreement or maybe theories that you could challenge or refine.
So being quite proactive in finding research avenues.
It encourages that mindset.
Yeah.
A critical engagement with the literature, looking for ways to actually contribute something new, not just summarize what's already out there.
Okay.
Then the discussion turns to something really practical, but maybe sometimes overlooked.
Which is?
Money, personal financial resources.
Ah, right, practicalities.
Yeah, it might not be the most exciting part of academic chat, but it's crucial for feasibility. The audio stresses being realistic about costs and avoiding research methods that might just be too expensive if your personal funds are tight.
That's a really important dose of realism.
But it also offers a proactive solution, looking into external funding, government grants, maybe industry partnerships.
So exploring those options.
Right. It's a reminder that financial limits don't have to stop ambitious research. And finally, the audio highlights the absolutely crucial role of the academic tutor.
In what sense?
Particularly in ensuring the rigor and the accuracy of your findings. That expert guidance is just invaluable all the way through the dissertation process.
Okay, and this connects really nicely with the insights from that other piece we looked at, the essential factors for successful research article.
It does, yeah. It echoes a lot of the dissertation points, but broadens it out to research in general.
And what's striking is how consistent the advice is across these different sources, isn't it?
It really is. The article stresses choosing a subject you're genuinely interested in seems obvious, but it makes the whole process smoother.
Makes sense. Less of a chore.
Right. And it also reinforces needing that in-depth study of your topic and developing a really comprehensive understanding of the wider field. Foundational stuff for any research.
And it also underscores establishing what's already known, pinpointing gaps or limitations in what's out there, and having an absolutely clear idea of your study's aim or goal, working with intention.
Exactly, with a clear sense of purpose.
Right.
And the article specifically mentions carefully analyzing your results and findings.
Which ties back to the tutor's role in the audio.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Verifying accuracy and seeking feedback from others, specifically asking supervisors to review results, those are flagged as essential steps too.
So research isn't purely solitary then?
Not really, no. It often involves independent work, sure, but it benefits hugely from collaboration and that expert input.
Okay, let's circle back quickly to our vocabulary guide because language is, well, it's the bedrock of all this academic stuff, isn't it?
Absolutely crucial.
We have that really useful list of verbs for study and research words like concentrate, learn, overcome, organize, study itself.
Take notes, take an exam.
Right. Teach, review, revise. These are the action words, the verbs of learning.
And they really capture how active and iterative learning is. It's not passive absorption. It's ongoing engagement, reflection, refinement.
Yeah. And the guide also gives clear definitions for key terms like curriculum, the big plan, and syllabus, the roadmap for a specific course.
Having precise vocabulary is just crucial for navigating academia effectively.
Clear communication, shared understanding.
Exactly, that shared foundation.
Then there was that word building exercise, connecting subjects with the people and the adjectives.
Oh, yeah, that was neat. Like architect, archaeological.
Biology, biologist, biological, economics, economist, economic.
Yeah, and geology, languages, law, math, science. It shows how language develops within disciplines.
And the links between the field, the people, and the descriptive words.
It's a really effective way to expand your vocabulary and deepen your understanding of different academic areas, I think.
Definitely. Finally, the guide touched on something really important. Common errors in academic English, specifically with prepositions.
Ah, yes, the tricky bits.
It pointed out incorrect phrases like study about X or learn to X when you mean gain knowledge of it or know about X.
Right, emphasizing the correct, more concise forms are just study X, learn X, know X.
They seem like minor things, maybe.
But they can actually impact the clarity and, frankly, the professionalism of your academic writing. Paying attention to those little nuances is pretty essential for conveying ideas precisely.
Right, with authority. Okay, so as we bring this deep dive to a close, what are the main takeaways that you, our listener, should keep in mind?
Well, firstly, I'd say recognize and really cater to your individual study preferences. Your best environment, your best time of day, your work style. Understanding your own rhythms can seriously boost your effectiveness.
Okay, personalize your approach.
Exactly. Secondly, for anyone doing research, especially that big dissertation task, remember how critical thoughtful topic selection is. Ground it in thorough research and a solid grasp of your field.
Makes sense. And never underestimate the value of seeking guidance, right?
Yeah.
Feedback from mentors, tutors, supervisors.
Oh, absolutely. Their expertise is invaluable for navigating the process and ensuring your findings are, sound.
Rigorous. And finally,
Remember that expanding your academic vocabulary and paying attention to those language nuances, it's a continuous process. It's fundamental to your overall success in academia.
great summary.
And on that note, maybe here's a final thought for you to ponder. As you get deeper into your own learning and research, think about that balance. The balance between, say, meticulous planning and the willingness to embrace unexpected discoveries.
Adapting along the way.
Yeah. What surprising, maybe really valuable paths might open up if you stay flexible as you explore further into the unknown.